what is sales? Sales is change. And what is the number one thing human beings hate to do?
They resist change.
Change. So if sales is change, and as human beings, we hate change, the only way that we're going to change is to create urgency through pain or fear of future pain. And so all of that is done with asking questions and digging deeper.
And you're not creating the pain.
No,
You're
I'm
just
helping them
discovering
see their pain.
You're helping them discover their potential pain or their current gap or their need.
That's right.
Hey everybody, we're back in studio today. We've got special guest who's joining us again after just a number of weeks. I know she's a fan favorite, an exploding channel at Final Expense Telesales.
That's
Dana
right.
Nissan back
Hi,
in studio.
Thanks for having me back.
What is going on, Dana? Another trip to Louisville from Thousand Oaks.
How could I resist?
What is happening?
Yeah, things have been great. Learning your guys' process and tools and systems. I cannot wait to continue to grow.
Dana, today, what I thought we would jump into for our listeners is your steps to the sale.
Absolutely.
Your secret steps to the sale. I don't know if it's secret because you put it out there.
I do put it out there, but people still want to know.
Yeah. And our audience, obviously, there's going to be 100%. There's going to be crossover.
Yeah.
But there's probably going to be a lot of people that watch this channel that don't know who you are yet.
That's great.
And
welcome.
I think they're getting to meet one of the best trainers in the industry right here.
Thank you.
Just as a quick backstory, you've been in the business 4 years.
Yes.
Got in 2020 during COVID.
Yes.
Been in telesales most of your career.
Almost 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
And you positioned yourself in the insurance space, built a significant team, and you do training.
I love it.
Daily, you post content on YouTube.
I try, yes,
now,
as
are you
often
on
as possible.
Podcasts as well? On a podcast platform like Apple, Spotify,
I'm
or are you
not.
just on YouTube? Just
Yes.
YouTube. Okay, fantastic. Well, may have to help you get over there.
I
on
know.
the
It's just a matter of doing it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we started just on audio. So
That's right, opposite then.
Before Adam, the man behind the camera over here, we just did audio, Apple, Spotify, and every other place you listen to your podcast. And then when Adam came on board, he took us from 800 subscribers to now 28,000 subscribers. And,
Love it, amazing.
In just 3 years. And but one of the preeminent teachers in the insurance and simplified issue final expense space is Dana Nissan.
Thank
Final
you.
Expense Telesales.
I mean, you guys do an incredible job of training as well. I've been watching the Life Insurance Academy podcast for years. There's so much synchronicity between the way that you guys train and the way that I train. I think that's such a beautiful relationship, and I'm so happy to be here and get to provide any extra value that I can.
Yeah. And so I want you to, we discussed prior to jumping on today, kind of the Dana Nissan steps to the sale. And as soon as I said, what is your framework, you just kicked into a whole different mode.
Yeah, I got
and
teacher mode.
It went in teacher mode, and I was typing as fast as I could. And I was eating it up because there is so much synchronicity between our principled sales process and what you do. I was getting excited.
I'm kind of a sales nerd.
I said,
I love it.
We could do collaborative training modules and it would be fantastic. And maybe that's a sneak peek into something that's coming. I don't know. I'm just saying. All right, let's jump in. What are your process? And you started out with a word that I don't think I've ever seen, and we've never taught it.
What?
You said, I start out with resistance.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I wrote it down. I'm like, I don't think I've ever thought to even talk about that.
Well, I mean, you're going to get resistance. Even the best lead in the world is going to resist wanting to be sold. And so if you go into your sales journey with the understanding that you're going to have resistance, then you will be 10 times more successful than the people that just wait for the low-hanging fruit. Because even when you think about it, when I get a sales call, even if it's something that I requested information for, do I really want to have this conversation right now?
Because when you filled it out, might have been a day or two ago.
Yes.
It might have been a week ago.
Even an hour ago.
And the emotion you had in that moment is gone. Now the oven's dinging, or kids are coming home, or your grandkids
Absolutely.
or you got to go to the doctor or whatever, right?
Yes. So with most of the way that internet leads are generated in our space, it's typically not with the intent to look for insurance. Usually they're getting interrupted with an ad. And so even if that ad is completed, 30 seconds goes by, they haven't thought about it again. They're continuing with their experience online, having nothing to do with the inquiry. So even though you have a high intent lead, it will still come with sales resistance. This is not a customer service job. People aren't calling in and welcoming, you on the phone.
You're not taking orders.
You're not an order taker. And so to start with, what is sales? Sales is pushing through resistance to lower someone's walls so that they're willing to have a conversation with you, even if they requested the information. So you're going to have to deal with...
Leads are not buyers. A lead is not a buyer?
A lead is not a buyer.
It might be a buyer.
Yes.
But it's not necessarily a buyer.
A lead is an opportunity.
Yes.
And so you're going to have people that want to talk to you, but not right now. Right? Can you call me back later? Can you call me back next week? And you can't fall into that trap. So that's one thing that we have to learn, help people overcome. Or they might say that they've changed their mind, or they've already purchased, or they didn't want a phone call. They just wanted information sent to them. Yes, you're going to have people that will say thank you for calling, or even if they do acknowledge their inquiry and they want to talk to you, you might get, so what's the price? Right? That's another form of sales resistance. And so you have to master that so that you can lengthen out your time of conversations, because the shorter your conversation, the higher the chance you're going to get a no or I want to think about it.
Yeah. And you break that down in your training. Obviously.
Absolutely.
You handle all that.
Yes.
Obviously, if we get into all of that, we're going to be here for a 6-hour training session, and we'll have to break it up in 20-minute modules, and there'll be 18 courses, 18 modules in the course.
And I don't want people to feel overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
Like, it sounds overwhelming sometimes, I think, when we talk about this. It's just because I get excited, when we talk about sales training. But the more that you do it, and the more that you practice it, and the more that you anticipate it, it just becomes fun.
So everybody gets resistance.
Everybody.
Even the great Dana Nissan gets resistance.
Yeah.
So if you're getting resistance, don't feel like it's just you, or it's bad leads, or you're having a bad day, or you're not cut out for this. If you understand that it's a part of the process,
absolutely,
you're fine.
Yeah.
Now you can put measures in place to handle it because you know it's coming.
Yes.
Right? Are you ready to launch your insurance career? Excel Solutions is your go-to leader in life, accident, and health insurance pre-license training. Their cutting-edge e-learning platform is packed with rich content. Think interactive assessments, engaging videos, and customized learning paths, all tailored to your learning style. Being students ourselves, we've trusted Excel now for years to deliver top-notch training, offering high pass rates. Their streamlined prep review courses and the exam simulator are really your secret weapons to nailing the state exam the very first time. Now, you thought it couldn't get any better. Well, it just did. Life Insurance Academy listeners, you receive an epic 50% discount, reducing the regular course fee from $199 to only $99. So, all you have to do is use partner code LIA at liapodcast.org/Excel. Now, Excel spells XCEL. So don't think about it any longer. Dive headfirst into your insurance career with Excel Solutions' premier pre-license training with that exclusive 50% discount just for you. Get the code, get licensed, and excel in your insurance career. All right, let's go to the next one.
Okay, so the next one is after you overcome the resistance, you want to get permission to engage.
I love that you just remember it. It's so automatic for you.
It is automatic.
Yeah, permission to engage.
That's an important one for me because I don't ever want to feel bulldozed in a sales call. I want to be part of the process.
Yeah.
And so when you give your customer an opportunity to say yes, you may continue, it automatically opens them up to receive the questions you're about to ask or the information that you're going to share. So that's a step that a lot of people miss. They just overcome the objection and then they just go right into their spiel. And then sometimes it can be too much and you'll get more resistance again.
Now you cover a quick transition, I guess, in that permission to engage, and you're moving right into what you call now the biggest part of the sales process, which is the discovery.
Discovery. Definitely. I mean, your
and you break
permission.
that up into two things. We're going to talk about how you differentiate between discovery and mastering discovery, right?
That is two different things.
Yeah. Let's talk about discovery first.
So discovery on a high level is just understanding why you're on the phone with this person, right? The reason they inquired in the first place, the needs both stated and unstated, because you're going to get, for example.
Did you hear that? Stated and unstated. Unstated. What the heck is she talking about? That's the stuff that's down here, everybody.
The unstated is the keys to the kingdom.
Yes.
Right? So the stated reason could be, tell me the reason you inquired. I'm just getting older. Right?
I don't have any coverage.
Or really, I'm just getting older. So the unstated reason is going to be, I guess, so Roger, I guess, what about getting older has you thinking that maybe now's the right time to look at putting something into place? And so now you're going to get another layer. You're going to get, oh, well, my neighbors got sick or someone passed away. And then the more information you get, the deeper you can actually go.
That's right.
And the deeper you go, the more urgency you're going to create. And the more urgency you create, the higher the chances that someone's going to want to change.
That's right.
Right? Because what is sales? Sales is change. And what is the number one thing human beings hate to do?
They resist change.
Change. So if sales is change, and as human beings, we hate change, the only way that we're going to change is to create urgency through pain or fear of future pain. And so all of that is done with asking questions and digging deeper.
And you're not creating the pain.
No,
You're
I'm
just
helping them
discovering
see their pain.
You're helping them discover their potential pain or their current gap or their need.
That's right.
We talk about it in the sense of external, internal, and philosophical. People have needs on 3 different levels. External is the obvious one. It's the stated one.
Okay.
Right? It's the stated one. I'm getting older. I don't have coverage. My brother-in-law died, and I've been thinking about it. And then they want to stop there. And most agents will go,
okay.
Well, we can help you with that. Tell me about your health. Let's jump into your... And it's like, what? What just happened?
Yeah.
This is a human that you're talking to. Like, you got to find out what's going on with their life. Be a person. And then the internal need, second level, which is the way something makes someone feel.
Right.
Aristotle calls it the pathos of persuasion. Ethos, pathos of persuasion. It's that part of the psyche. Chris calls it emotional excavation.
Okay.
Yeah, think about emotional excavation. Think about an excavator, an architect, or
chipping away.
Archaeologist. How about I say architect? Archaeologist. They can't go in there with a hammer. Or
No.
they'll destroy this beautiful thing that's underneath there. And sometimes when the person filled out that request, it pinged a heartstring.
Right.
It pinged something. But now they're removed from that emotion, and now you have to bring them back. Now you have to get them to be back in that moment and go deeper with them so you can reveal the pain, uncover, brush it away, emotional excavation, so that it can be revealed to them so they can see it. And so I love that, stated and unstated, because unstated are the keys to the kingdom. The philosophical one, for all intents and purposes, is just right or wrong. Am I a good person or a bad person? Good people take care of their family. Bad people don't care.
Well,
right?
Yeah. You get people that say that.
Yeah. And so sometimes that moves the needle, but where the action is, where people take action is on their internal needs. And that's the unstated. And we've got to be good enough to get there.
Right.
And that takes a little bit of skill. There's too many people out there, Dana, that say, well, just qualify them. If they're buyers, great, close them, and then go to the next lead. Buy more leads, just sell more. There's so many opportunities in the middle that we're missing because we're not treating people like humans.
Yeah. We're treating them like commission checks.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's definitely that's a road to burnout. I think that's why there tends to be a lot of turnover in the industry, is because people are just told to quote everybody you get on the phone and blow through as many leads as possible and buy as many leads as you
Qualify
can
them quickly. Get rid of the tire kickers.
We didn't even talk about that too before we started filming. Is part of discovery is also deciding if the person that's on the phone with you is a buyer. Because if they're not, you don't want to waste your time with someone that's wasting your time.
Yeah. So how do you determine that while still being a human and getting to the unstated need?
Yeah. I mean, it is about asking those questions. So when you get someone that is saying, I don't know why I filled it out. I thought it was free. Or, I don't care what happens to me when I die. My kids can just take care of it. Like, those are clues that you have someone that isn't going to be motivated to make a change. So where an inexperienced sales agent would probably try to talk them into why they should care about it.
Correct.
Believe somebody when they tell you who they are.
Exactly. I said those words to my wife last
Did you?
night.
Did you really?
To my wife.
Yes.
Yes.
So when someone tells you who they are,
Completely different situation.
Believe
but I
them.
did say those words, yeah.
And so it's not, I've always told my agents, it's not our job to talk someone into buying insurance.
Adam, where's Dana been our entire time teaching at the Life Insurance Academy? And why has she not been on here before? I know,
Clearly.
so far away.
It's our job to find the ones that need it, that say they need it, but they've just been afraid to change. And once you find those people, then you can use your sales skills to help move that needle for them.
Yeah. You had written down here, determine needs and the impact meeting it will have on their family. You said that to me before we went on air. What does that mean to you?
Yeah. So just saying that somebody needs life insurance because they don't have it is not enough. You really have to understand who the life insurance will impact or who it will impact if they don't have it. And will those people be okay? Do they have money aside if you weren't able to afford a policy or if you decided against one? What would the plan be essentially? And kind of walking them down that path. You know, if you decided when we got to the end that it's something you didn't want, I guess, what would you do then? And sometimes they'll say, well, I have a rich sister's uncle that'll take care of it.
My mother has a policy on me.
And this is a perfect time when you're doing it in discovery.
Yeah.
But is that what you want?
Yeah.
Do you want your sister's rich uncle to pay for this policy? Well, no, but why not? Right? And you get them to talk themselves out of it. And guess what? Boom, you've closed that objection.
Yeah.
Before you get there.
I love that. There's so much good stuff here. We could be in here. I could stay here and finish just on this part right here.
Let's have him bring us dinner.
I think like most agents move through this so quickly because they're trying to get to the quotes. They're trying to get to the underwriting to see if they can quote them and close a sale. And so many good people don't even give themselves a chance in the industry because they don't commit to learning human communication that moves the needle.
Absolutely.
They don't commit to that. And I want to tell you, people go to school for 4 years to get a college degree. They spend $100,000. They come out to apply for a job that makes them $60,000. They just spent $100,000 and they're paying it back with interest and it's guaranteed. You have to pay it back. There's no way. Well, there's no way of getting out from under it that I know of.
Yeah.
And it took 4 years. And even when they start that job, they still don't know everything. And then a lot of our new people will come in here and want to have success in the first month. And when they don't, they go, it doesn't work. The leads are bad. And they don't give themselves the time.
Yeah.
They need more people around them like you teaching good content. What's the difference between discovery and mastering discovery?
So discovery is understanding the questions that you have to ask so that you can uncover the needs, right?
Yeah.
And the people that it's going to affect. But mastering discovery are the sales techniques that you can't script. So that's going to include things like active listening, and that's going to include things like asking clarifying and probing questions. That's going to include things like pausing, right, to create a bigger impact or to let them process something that you just said or something that you just asked. And essentially peeling those layers and listening for the clues that'll just make the conversation feel like a conversation and not like asking a question, responding with, okay, gotcha, next question, right? And listening to understand as opposed to listening to ask your next question.
Yeah.
And that's a big trap that people can get into when they first start because they're just trying to get through the damn script instead of understanding who they're on the phone with.
Yeah. I like how you said active listening to understand and not simply to respond.
Right.
Seek first to understand rather than to be understood. It's a famous quote.
It's so important and you just nailed it right on the head. It's just a communication skill.
Yeah.
And I think so many people lack basic communication that is almost more difficult to teach than understanding a script.
Yeah.
Because everybody now, right, we communicate like this. And so if we don't know how to listen to people's tonalities, to the words that they're saying, why are they saying that? If you haven't been trained on how to communicate with someone, that's going to be a lot harder to learn. So listening to a podcast like this and thinking, oh, I got it, it's going to click, it actually takes a lot of work. And so part of what I like to do for my team is we have to train on this stuff daily. I mean, you have to be able to listen to your calls and listen to where you went wrong and understand, maybe I should have paused a little bit more. And too many people talk too much, the over talking.
They think telling is selling.
There's so much to it, which I know we want to keep it simple for the agents, but at the same time, if you want to be really successful and you don't want to feel burnout, it's really important to master these skills.
I had a good friend of mine. His name is Jack, and Jack is an A-type personality, high energy, influencer, but also driven. So if you look at it on a disc scale, he's up there on the top, right up the top in the middle. And whenever he walked into the room, he commanded the attention. He loved to make a quick joke. He was fully confident in himself. And when he would get in public situations, his wife would always, quietly tap him when he was talking too much. And she would say, Jack, be more interested than interesting. Be more interested than interesting.
Yeah.
If we all just did that a little bit more in our sales calls, how much better would it go for us?
Absolutely. It's a life skill too.
I know.
When you're out to dinner with someone or you're on a date with someone, you are more interesting when you allow the person to tell them about who they are.
Yeah.
Rather than sharing everything that you know and who you are. And so it's the same principle in sales. We just are all human. We just need to treat each other that way. Sometimes
and I say we, because I lump us all into this human race, but we're unaware. We're self-unaware. We're in this mode where nobody's actually taken the time to teach us human communications. And so we just learned that in order to be liked, you talk a lot and be positive and people will like you. You'll be popular.
Yeah.
But in human interaction, it's not that way. Tommy Spalding wrote a great book, which probably influenced my life the most. A year ago, I read it. And it's a book called The Gift of Influence. And it has nothing to do with sales, but it just has to deal with life and what it takes for one person to influence another or to influence people or to influence a cause. And he said that the premise of the book was to how do we turn everyday transactions into real-life human interactions. And I think that's the difference between someone who's selling for them and someone who is advising to benefit their client, especially in this industry, in a group of people that are somewhat otherwise marginalized because of their lack of income or their lack of financial means. There's so many people that overlook them. And I think somewhat they feel marginalized to an extent in their life anyway.
Right.
And so they put themselves in this box of where they fit in the world. And when someone shows up like you, who's refreshing and who talks to them about their life, who's genuinely interested and asks another question behind the answer they just gave you, that shows that you're listening, boy, you can earn some of the biggest trust and get some of the best referrals.
Absolutely.
And your world changes. And for new people, we just want you to pause and slow down here. There's steps to mastering discovery. All right, we got to wrap. I think we got 10. Adam's giving me the 10 minutes, but
there's so much more to cover.
I know.
We're gonna have to do a part 2.
There's 2 or 3 more things I want us to cover here. So we've talked about resistance, permission to engage, discovery process, mastering discovery, and then you move into the education piece.
Yes. I do a quick summary at the end of discovery, just to make sure that, I got it right. Can't miss any steps.
No.
And that just really sums everything up for the customer and makes them fully feel understood.
You're recapping and seeking permission to move forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, permission. And, we call those mini invitations. You do lots of mini invitations throughout.
Or micro agreements.
Micro agreements,
Yes.
exactly. Because again, I want them to feel part of the process, not that they're being forced into something and that's why you'll get a lot of people pushing you for a quote is when they don't feel like they're part of the process.
And they're just trying to get what they want out of it.
Right. So then I move into education and I'll just simply ask them questions to kind of see where they're at. If they feel like they are highly educated, then I'll ask them to share with me, what do you know? And usually they're wrong or they're missing things. So I'll ask permission. You are like 90% there, but is it okay if I fill in a couple of gaps?
I love how you give them the respect of that question.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. And most people don't know the difference, which is crazy to me because the amount of conversations a lot of our prospects have, like we're not the first life insurance agent they've ever spoken to.
No.
They've spoken to many and nobody educates them. Like you said, they feel marginalized.
That's right.
And treated like a commission check. So I think it's really important to take the time to educate people on what is in their best interest, what's not in their best interest, so that they can make a good decision.
You mentioned that you talked to them about not just the product that you think best fits them because you don't want to make that decision for them, but you talk about products that they may have heard of, maybe familiar with, things they've gotten in the mail or seen on TV, and you educate them on those products. Why is that important?
So that they understand why something is not in their best interest, but they're the ones that made that decision for themselves. So for example, if somebody is a good client for final expense, I'll educate them on term insurance, tell them they usually outlive it between the ages of 80 or 85. The price can tend to go up or your coverage can tend to go down. Now, if that were to happen to you, like what do you think would happen if you outlived your policy and you weren't able to get more coverage? Right? Like get them to... You never want to tell somebody the consequences of something. You want to give them the information and let them tell you what the consequences are.
That's right.
Because then they're just selling themselves, essentially.
Yeah.
The other reason education is so important is because it puts you in a position of authority. Now you've given somebody something of value for free without asking for anything in return, but making them feel confident to make a decision. Why do you think so many people want to talk to someone after you give quotes? Is because they are uncomfortable making a decision on their own.
Correct.
Why are they uncomfortable making a decision on their own? Because they don't understand it. And why don't they understand it? Because you didn't help them understand it.
And they feel like they're being sold.
Yes.
And they're not ready to move with you. They don't trust you. You haven't earned that trust. Yeah.
So education is critical. I have said the sale takes place in education. And if you skip that part because you're trying to get to the quote, you're missing a big part of the sales process.
You're sitting here in the chair and you're like Zach embodied in female version from California.
I love it.
I don't know if we can do a California Zach. We can do some kind of cool surfer dude hair coming out of the water on a surfboard.
Yeah.
Laguna Beach. I don't know, something like that. But that's like Zach teaches exactly that. Like, let's educate our clients and let them make the decision about what they don't want and what they do. Let them make the decision, and then you're the advisor to help them get the thing that they said that they wanted, as opposed to buying what you tell them to. And there's a big need. There's a big need for more of that in this space. And so I immensely respect how you process that. Just a few other things. We talked about discovering any further needs. You had mentioned that before you move into that final story.
Yeah. Well, so traditionally with my old script, I would go into a funeral concierge service program. And now that we have multiple carriers, and now that we can refer out other products, now we want to also find out if there's other things that are important to them besides just the funeral. So we definitely want to ask them about other things that are important to them, which you could also put that in your discovery phase as well.
Correct.
So by the time you understand who someone is, why they're on the phone with you, what's important to them, why it's important to them, who it's going to impact, you've educated them on everything, they understand what they want and why they want it. Now you got to make them picture in their mind what's going to happen when they pass away and what that's going to feel like, right? Because essentially, we're just another version of an audiobook when you're doing telesales.
I never thought of it that way.
Well, it is, right? And a good book, the reason that people read books is because they can picture the story.
That's right.
And so if all we have is our voice, when we're trying to convey emotion and urgency, if we don't help them picture in their minds what that's going to look like for their family, then again, you're still kind of making it transactional. So you just kind of take it one step further and create an audiobook moment for them to picture in their minds what's going to happen to their family.
Moment. I love it, Adam. That's so good.
Yeah. So we just say, let's pretend it's 10, 15, 20 years from now. And, you're sitting in the hospital and things aren't looking good. The nurse might walk in at 2 a.m. and tap your son on the shoulder and say, I'm so sorry, but your dad's just passed. Right? The nurse is going to offer her condolences, but the very next thing she's going to say is, you need to make arrangements for his body because we have to get the room ready for the next patient. I mean, what do you think he's going to do in that moment? Right? And you kind of just get him to picture, I don't know what's going to happen, and you kind of walk them through, well, most people are just deer in headlights. They don't know who to call, what to do. But you would have handed them, some form of ID card or some sort of assurance that you have taken care of everything for them years ago. All they have to do is pick up one phone call and know that at least the financial part of this has been taken care of for them.
And if you do a funeral plan on top of it,
right?
The rest is also
the rest, and that just depends on the customer's needs.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. And so then you end with a qualifying question that they're ready to buy. You move into underwriting questions, and the rest should be easy.
And then it's just finding an affordable plan to meet that need that they stated.
Most people think that they have trouble in objection handling at the end. It's never objection handling at the end.
No.
It's what you are doing. You're the one that has caused the objections that you got at the end by what you didn't do in the beginning.
Correct. Adam, have you heard this before? Holy cow. This is like... I feel like you've been in the studio with us for 4 years.
Or you've been in my studio.
Yeah. Yes. I've been in your studio. That must be it. This is awesome. I love this. Dana, you are passionate about educating people.
Yes.
I was audiobooking you. As you were walking through the process, I was there with you, listening to you. I could picture the client on the other end of the phone going through this. We don't have that. All we have is our voice. And how do we put them in a place of picturing at the end what it's going to look like? Chris says, if we can take our clients to the funeral home and say, what are your kids doing? And how are they having that discussion with the funeral home planner? What's that discussion look like?
Exactly.
How are the funds being paid for? How do we move them from the hospital? Like, who's making the arrangements? How do we get this done? What are the next steps? That's a difficult conversation. And you, as the advisor, as the agent, and I will tell you, regardless of how many agents that may have talked to them before, because if they're moving through just trying to close a sale, they're not doing this.
No.
And the best advisors out there, the ones that are going to have flourishing, long-lasting careers, a career that others will follow, like Dana, and want to emulate, is when we can help people see their real need and meet their need like a genuine human who cares.
That's right.
Having a real conversation and making what is traditionally a transaction into a real life human interaction, making them feel valued and protecting their family. And this is one of the most rewarding businesses ever. It's been for me. It's changed my entire family, changed the trajectory of our future, our friends, the people around us, the people that we end up doing business with, that we've come in contact with, relationships that we've made around the country with special people like you. And so I love your teaching moment.
I feel like we're just scratching the surface, right?
I know.
It's okay. But really, when you do it this way, and if I can just share one more thing, when you do it this way and you have people cry at the end of your calls, or when they want to pray for you because of how much you've changed them in a 45-minute phone call, that doesn't happen when you're just asking health questions in the beginning and just price shopping for them amongst 100 carriers and finding people are not buying on price, right? People
They may,
don't.
and then it doesn't get placed half the time, and they don't keep it. The first objection they get, it cancels, and it's bad business.
Or you just have to buy a lot of leads and make a lot of calls.
Yes.
Right? But that's what everybody's fighting against.
Yeah.
So let's not do what doesn't work, and do it the right way. Put in the time to learn a sales process, understand basic communication skills, put in the time to empower yourself, right? So that you can empower others.
Yeah. So Dana Nissan with Empower Life Group is doing just that.
That's
for
right.
you and other agents. And she is determined to make a lasting mark with her career and everyone who works with her.
Couldn't have said it better.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me again.
How do people reach you?
You can email me at dana@empowerlifegroup.com. You can go right to the website, empowerlifegroup.com. And I would love to talk to you to see if what we do is a good fit for you.
Maybe we can link up a couple of her videos in our next upcoming videos in our channel.
Thank you.
If you haven't followed her on YouTube, subscribe to her content. This is the kind of stuff you're going to get every day. And she's super creative too, by the way. You got to follow her on social as well, Instagram particularly.
At Final Expense Telesales.
At Final Expense Telesales. Dana, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Roger.
And thank you guys for watching this episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast.